Hello from Gardening at Douentza in Ireland, and this video is going to be about succulents and the ones that are looking really good in the greenhouse right now. Now, as you can see, I'm in the throes of sorting the greenhouse out for summer, but I did notice a number of them in flower, so let's have a look at them. And as usual, we'll start with a pan up and down the staging here, and you can see that gap there in the middle. That's as far as I've got. I haven't sorted out down there, but I've just sorted these ones out. Now, they're kind of temporarily put on display, and I like the look of these succulents, but I always do think that succulents are shown off better if you have something soft or something different in between, and I like to put some pelargoniums in between them. So I'll do that when I've got the whole lot sorted out. At the very top here we have Bulbine caulescens, which I got last year or the year before when I visited Terry Smith in the Smith garden, and it's actually in flower now at the moment. Sorry about the bubble wrap behind, but I'm actually not going to bother taking it off this year, just to make it easier to sort the greenhouse out in autumn. And this bulbine has these lovely little orange flowers that come on a tall spike, so I'm pleased with that. Moving over to the left, we have the willow that Bjorn sent me a little while ago, and it's doing well. I need to keep it better hydrated though. And down below, what have we got here? This is a lovely variegated agave, a pop of a bigger plant, and some Echeveria. I can't remember what name at the moment. And here, the first thing in flower, well, the second thing I suppose after the bulbine, and we have a Kalanchoe or Kalanchoe Tessa, which is quite pretty. That was a cutting given to me by my friend, and well, it's flowered without much ado. Beside it we have this super little succulent. Look at these orange bell-like flowers, really, really nice. And the leaves, this is a Cotyledon, speciosum. Moving along on the shelf we have an Epiphyllum, and I have a lot of Epiphyllums in bud at the moment. This is a Deutsche Keiserin one, and therefore it should open pink, although at this moment in time the buds look very greenish, very yellowish, but I think they should open pink. Well, if it's correctly labelled, it will be. And moving over to the left we have a Epiphyllum ackermanii is what the label says, but that looks very orange to me, so ackermanii is supposed to be red. We shall see how that does. And beside it here we have a pink Hatiora. This one flowered for me last year, and it's very pretty when it's in flower. And then further over, another Epiphyllum. Now this one I'm really excited about because it's a gorgeous one called King Midas, and it flowers with this fantastic yellow flower. First flowering for me, and this came to me as a swap from Robert in the UK, so thank you very much, Robert. That's done really well. And Robert also sent me this little beauty here, which is also in bud, and the name of this one is it's a Rhipsalidopsis. There we go. So I'm looking forward to seeing how these flowers do. Moving along we have a species Pelargonium. This is Cotyledonis, the old man live forever one, and it's in its kind of off season, kind of semi-dormant, but I expect it to break into new growth soon. Beside that we have Kalanchoe Tessa, which usually has much darker leaves, but this has been kept under the staging for the winter, so it's lost its darkness. They do that, but it is in flower at the moment, so that's looking good. And beside it a pink Hatiora. Now the parent plant of this rotted off where it touches the soil last year or the year before, so this is actually a cutting, but the cutting has come into flower, so that's really good news. We'll have to come back when these things actually come into flower and see them. a little, I'm not sure, I'll put the name of this, crassula, I'm not sure. I'll put the name in the description. As always, I'll put a list of the plants I featured in this video in order of appearance in the video details. Here we have a nice Rhipsalidopsis, which looks like it's growing very, very well. No sign of flowers yet, but I'm not quite sure what season this flowers in, so it certainly looks healthy enough to flower for me. And moving over here to the right, this is not a succulent, but this is a Jacobinia. And if we look here, we can see it's forming buds, so I will have flowers soon. Here we have a massive Orbea, which has never flowered for me. Hopefully this year will be the year. And beside it, a Sinningia with a fantastic caudex. This kind of bulb that sits proud of the soil is called a caudex. And as you can see with Sinningias, the plant sprouts out of it. These are the ones that were dormant. But yeah, it's doing well. And what I love about this is the orange tubular flowers. Really, really pretty. The leaves are very soft as well, very tactile. And moving to its right, we have Echeveria, Compton's Carousel, a gorgeous succulent that has produced little rosettes all along its stem. Now, as you can see, I've staked this plant up, but it really is very bendy. I'm not sure what I really should have done was maybe just kind of gotten a large bowl and laying it to curl around like a snake, so that perhaps it would look better like that. I may still do that, but haven't made up my mind yet. Now, this Echeveria doesn't come true if you propagate it from the leaves, so it doesn't become variegated if you do that, or doesn't in 98% of cases. So it really needs to be propagated from rosettes. I'm really pleased at how well this is doing. To the right of the Echeveria we have an Aeonium, and this one is called Velour. It's a hybrid called Velour, and it has quite dark red leaves with a green centre. Very nice, and it holds itself quite upright. A lot of them kind of just collapse. They have a more, well, prostate habit. This one is good though. And beside it, the one that is known as the donkey's tail, I think. Yeah, I'm not so mad about this. You see how it has these very, very long dangly bits. And what I find is that they're very likely to break off if you don't handle it terribly gently. Maybe I'm just not used to being that gentle. Here we have another of the Justia, the Jacobinia Justicia. And this one, I don't know if it got any buds on it. Not yet, but hopefully they'll come. And here we have an Epiphyllum, and this one is actually in flower. Now this is a new Peterson hybrid. At least that was the label that it was on. That was on it when I got it. I won this in a competition, a very tricky competition, in a Facebook group on Epiphyllums. And this is its first flowering. And as you can see, they're really orange juice coloured flowers. Very, very pretty. And quite small. And if we travel along the stems here, you can see that there is another number of them coming. So I'll have more flowers in time. And just before we move on to the back shelf here, I have been delivered a cup of tea in the greenhouse in my favourite cup. So that's really nice. And this metal cup is great for keeping the tea warm. Sorry to those of you who don't like tea with milk. I'm sure that looks like a disgusting sight, but to me it's very welcome. And moving to the back shelf now, we have a Dudleya, which is a lovely American plant, and it's covered in this kind of farina or mealy. See if I rub it here, you can see that this kind of white powder comes off. And what you don't want is for it to come off, so I shouldn't do that. It's best, therefore, kept in a greenhouse because the rain won't fall on it and wash the white stuff off. Very attractive, pretty succulent. And to its left, we have my Veltheimia, or should I say my 3 Veltheimia bulbs, because I have the one in the centre and 2 ones on the outside. And 2 of them flowered this year. 2? Was it 3? I think it was 2. So moving over here again, and what have we got here? Just at the back, Haemanthus albifloss, flowered magnificently last autumn and going to get divided now. And down here we have some more of those Agave Mediopicta variegated babies there, and the peanut cactus, which has given its first flower so far. I love this gorgeous orange warm colour. It's really super. And in fact, a number of these succulents here are orange. The Sinningia and the Kalanchoe down there. The Rhipsalidopsis, well, that's red, I suppose, really. And some of the others over there. So orange is the colour of the day. Slightly to the left, we have the parent plant of that peanut cactus, and if we look closely there seem to be a lot of buds brewing, which is good. Now when this plant flowers, the flowers only last a day or 2 at most, but if you have succession of them, then it certainly looks good. And to the left of it, just recently potted on, we have Agave attenuata, which is a wonderful agave that I picked up in the market in Madeira last year. I think it was last year. And it has come through the winter and is looking good. This is the bigger of the 2. I have a smaller one somewhere else, which I probably need to pot on as well. This one has probably been held back in that I didn't pot it on as soon as it needed it, so it's kind of restricted its growth to an extent. But better late than never for potting on. And the final thing I want to show you from this messy greenhouse as I tidy it up is my protea, my king protea, which has plenty of flowers coming. But this one here is now fully open. So isn't that impressive? So that's it really. Those are the succulents I wanted to show you today in the greenhouse, and hopefully you enjoyed this little tour, and we'll come back when more of them are in flower or more of them begin to do something worth mentioning. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. Bye now.